Alright, if we break down here, guys, I'm short for the same cash flow targets. I appreciate you for being here.
I'm sure right now. Target hit. This is what we call a magic hour.
Alright, I'm taking this.
Upside ahead, the momentum to the upside ahead, everything aligning, live pricing, historical data, right?
Right there.
Welcome, this is Pack TV. Sit back, relax, and watch how we day trade with statistics.
Pack TV, God given, so I gotta make it happen. I'm on mission, not like them, I'm different. That bag come with a pension, talk about that business. Like I'm hard all in the pain, shining hard, don't need no chain. All this drip, it feel like rain. Everything on me, got it on my name. They don't got it like this, they don't talk it like this. I was built for this. That TV not like guns, take it away.
Stop me, it's me. If you're doing this for the women, you're losing. Do this shit for yourself. I do this shit for myself.
They rigged the race long before your first breath. Signed your name in the ledger, made a bet on your death. Puppet masters and neckties, count your hours like cash. Presidents pushing their pieces while you fade in the ash. Game theory kings in a smoke-filled room, writing out the rules to your ruin. The world ain't chaos, it's their game. Their game. You never learn the script they spin, cause they don't want you to ever win. Flip the fucking board, let it rain, let it rain. Burn it down, burn it down. Burn it down, burn it down. A lead over production, too many miles at the throne. China rise in the rear view, old empires turn to bone. Same damn cycle, same sharp teeth in a grin. They sell you fate on a pay-per-view, call it virtue, call it sin. Game theory kings in a smoke-filled room, writing out the rules to your ruin. The world ain't chaos, it's their game. Their game. You never learn the script they spin, cause they don't want you to ever win. Flip the fucking board, let it rain, let it rain.
All right, it's burned down. Sorry, guys. I need to get some more positive, encouraging Caleb music going on. All right. So, right, we're gonna do something a little bit different today, right? I'm still gonna do my reengineering. My wargaming. I'm still gonna do it all, but I want you to, you know, define what you think happiness is. And I'm gonna play this video. I've always loved this video since like it came out in the 90s. It's always been one of those ones that just captured my eye because there's so much realistic. It's so realistic to me, right? Because I see it every single day and I've lived it every single day. And like I want you to watch it and just seriously think, what is defining happiness to you? Number one, like I'm not a believer in like happiness, right? I'm more of a believer in peace. But I think you have to be aware of, and I'm not trying to put the conspiracy theorist hat on at 8 o'clock in the morning before market open, but I will say, right, there's a higher agenda. Everybody's got an intent and an angle. Every individual has an intent and an angle. Every organization has an intent and an angle. Everything has an intent and an angle. And your job as a human being, as an adult, and a good stewardship of your work ethic, your character, and your values is to identify whatever you align with, does that match your intent and angle and character and values, right? So watch the video and like really think about, right? Are you living for happiness, which is a misconception? And is that happiness really lined up with the intent and angle that you are trying to achieve in life? Or is it because somebody or something is influencing that thought process? So let's watch a video.
Moving on now, moving fast, and this time must be wanted, must be called to your eyes, but I need Jake to tell you that I love you and never ends, and I'm glad every day now for a year, and it's sad. You know, on the way for to meet our name, and together must have fallen like a seed to the dead on the soil, buried deep in the ground, on the wind. I can hear you call my name, held the sound. I am lost, I am lost in a rainbow, no rainbow is gone. I am lost in a rainbow, no rainbow is gone. I am lost, I am
Now, right? I'm not trying to say you should go off grid and be a nomad, but I will say every action, every decision that you make in life has a reaction, a consequence, right? And like I've seen too many people start on the right track in trading, in life, in the military, period. And they had great work ethics, they had great values, they had great character, And then somewhere along the line, stuff started becoming idols, and they started worshiping physical idols, right? Cars and houses and stuff that really doesn't bring you joy, right? So with that being said, reflect on your life and really just figure out, like, is there something, right, that you idolize, right, that you probably shouldn't idolize, right? A good thing that I do is, which is a really kind of, well, the thing that I do is, like, what do I get angry about? Usually that's important to me, right? Like, and it's a direct response to, and this can be miscued, but in my world, right, if I'm getting angry about it, right, usually it's something that I prioritize in life, right? So with that being said, that's your TED Talk of the day, right? And let's get some war game going on. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, starting on the daily chart, right? Using candle science, right? We know that we are now clearly below NFP Friday, and we are heading to previous month 50%. We know that this is an action that, right, is not representation of a strong bullish market, especially after we've taken out, like, when the third part of the month, right? We knew that as of 1500 yesterday, right, the probabilities was a 54% probability of taking out the low and a 28 of taking out previous day high, unless we breached the open in price, which we did. Then the probabilities shifted to 61 for the high and a 45 for the low, but we took out the low, right? So let's go put our targets on, right? Saying that, what's the day? Wednesday. So Monday was red, Tuesday was red. We took out the low yesterday, right? And then the action is we've already done is we've already breached the previous day open in price, and we already took out the low. Now we see that this, out of the last 20 years, has happened 162 times. So where are our targets going to be to the downside? All right. And the targets to the downside, if this yellow line represents C2 low, out of this 162, our 30th percentile, meaning this has a 70% probability, right? 30% of that 162 reversed before hitting 10 basis points. 70% of them kept going. So we can see we've already cleared that, more than likely. I don't know, I haven't checked. Yeah, we've already cleared that. We've already cleared that 30th percentile, 70% probability, right, this morning. Right now we're going to do the 50th, right? Meaning 50% of that 162 times, 50% of them reverse before hitting this 25 basis points off the previous day low, and 50% of them kept going, right? And we've already hit that. Now we know that we are in a market contraction, volatility contracting market where the ranges are starting to get smaller, right? So we've already bypassed that target, right? And now we're going to do the 70 percentile, which has got about a 30% probability, which is at 47 basis points off the previous day low. You didn't hit the high, you definitely hit the open, right? Look, we hit yesterday's opening price right there. Are you saying my candle science is messed up? Let me check. We touched the open, right? C3's highs, touched C2's open, and we've taken out the low. All right. So now back to the 70th percentile, which has a 30%. So out of this 162 times, doing what we did Monday and Tuesday in the day, yeah, I already checked it. It's good, right? 30% of them kept going after 47 basis points, and 70% of them reversed before this, right? So let's draw that out. We said that's at 47, and we're right here right now. Right, so now we're at the anomaly land. I mean, below this red, remember, every time that we've done this exact signature over the last 3 days, right, 70% of them turned around before hitting this 47 basis points. 30% of them kept going lower, right? So we know we're at a reversal going into a reversal zone going into the open that we have to pay attention to, right? So the last check I'll do, just because of this, right? What is the probability of us closing back in previous day's range? And so that's what this number tells us. There's a 75% probability that settlement today will be back within yesterday's range. Does that make sense to you guys? Right? There's a 25% probability that we close outside of previous day's low, meaning below it. There's a 75% probability that we close back within yesterday's range. Is that making sense to you guys? All right, cool. Right, so we know we're below NFP Friday. We expect 70 or 50% green days, 50% red days. Right, we're on a 1, 2, 3, 4-day red streak. Right, so there is a possibility that we should be starting to look for a green day soon. Right, but yeah, with that being said, now let's move to intraday. Right, change this back to Nasdaq New York, reset, starting fresh. What did the overnight system do? Right, the overnight Asia did absolutely nothing. Right, it's none unbroken. London is a short true, and we went short. We went short out of New York 1, right, out of the 7:30 to 8:30. So if we put in Asia was broken, short true for London, and we went short out of the 7:30 to 8:30 time base range, right? And we can see that there's a 69% probability that we go down to come up. We reverse in the morning. There's a 30% probability that we continue selling off, right? So with that being said, coming up real quick, London OU, right? There's a 75% probability that we go back to London's midpoint, right? And the secondary mode and median sits at 9:30, and we'll go to 10:15 cutoff, right? So that is above us, right? Where? That is above midnight, is above Globex open, is above settlement, is above P12 mid, right? The first line in the sand that we have to get over, though, right, is this P12 low. So, like, if you think of it, right, if we're going to be reversing, we need to get above New York OU, previous day low, find footing, keep stepping up, keep stepping up, keep stepping up, right? And our final target can be that London OU for the morning session. No, I don't. Right? There's no need to, right? Like, I don't even think it does anything. No, I just keep it on all, right? That should have been removed already. There's no need to have that. Right? It just kills your data set. Right? Because like it just kills the data set. Right? Going back into this, right? So if we expect us to have a false day, which is a higher probability, we know, right, this is the price signatures that we should be looking for. Right around here. So let's go put our low of the day in, and then we'll talk about what we're going to use in the live price element to see if this is happening. All right, so we can see that for a long false, our low of the day is from 0.4 to 0.8. 0.4 to 0.8 with the highest primary time being between 9:30 and 9:45. Right, it can come earlier from 8:30 to 9:15, which you have 6, 10, around 15% of the data stacked between 8:30 and 9. You can also see, right, unlike yesterday, right, you don't have as much data stacked on the session high and low for that pre-market move. It can still do it, but the primary time is right here between 9:30 and 9:45. All right. So with that being said, let's go put our data in, right? Low of the day from 0.4 to 0.8. .4 is 0.8, and we already know that we blew through that, and it's 9:30 to 10:30. And so now we've got a couple of things. That rubber band has been stretched with the candle sign 70th percentile, with the low of the day, it's starting to line up, right? It's starting to line up. So if we start seeing reversal signatures and 9:30 opens up and rips like a DWP, right? Like, you've got to be able to respond, right? However, ideally, from a statistical standpoint, you want to come make a new low after 9:30, right? All right, so other measurements that we are going to look for to target to the upside, if we get that 4-step reversal, is going to be this P12 high, right? There's a 71% probability, but by 10:15, if we haven't made an aggressive move up, we can still hit it, right? Because we do have, right, the probabilities of a high of the day in the day, right? We just know that it needs to move aggressive in the morning to target this in the morning. If it can't move aggressive in the morning, it's something that we'll target in the afternoon, right? If we get the live price confirmation. We can see that midnight retracement is above average, with the primary time being 9:30 to 10 from 8 to 12 o'clock. So that's a plus to the upside. Globex Open is above average in the upper portion of its range, and settlement is above average. Right? We can see on Wednesdays, right, it likes to do gap fills. It likes to do settlement gap fills. There's a 95% probability today. Once you get the live price signature, the 4-step reversal happening, you get a 95% for the 50th, the 75, and the 100, right? So we've got plenty of opportunity to the upside if we decide, right? We got settlement, we got Globex Open between 8 and 12, we got midnight, we got London OU, right? All right here. Now let's go put our high of the day data on for this price signature, and then we'll talk about the 4-step reversal between 0.2 and 0.6 in the day. 0.2 to 0.6. Where am I? 0.2 to 0.6, 15 to 1600. Right, and we got to realize that we've overspent our 10-day median range already. Right, Asia underspent its checkbook, London barely spent its checkbook, and New York starting out the gate strong, right? So we can see that there's a likelihood that we come back and attack that P12 high, but we got to get the 4-step reversal, meaning, right, can we get above 9:30? Can we get above 9 o'clock's 50%, right? 10 o'clock takes out 9 o'clock's high, makes it instat high and instat Q1 low at 10 o'clock, right? Now, one thing I was live trading with you guys, showing you guys how to add to positions. We know that we don't wait for these 4 steps. They start placing trades, right? Usually it's above the 9:30 and above 9 o'clock's 50%, but we can use 10 o'clock and that instat low, right, as a position to add to if we got good enough movement to the upside like we did yesterday. Just like we got the 10 basis points above the 9:30, well, we might have to enter a position if it just rips, rallies, and roars and doesn't show any likelihood of coming back, right? But we know that this is the highest probable setup right here, right now, right, for the morning session, right? So that's the highest probability. Now we're going to go talk about the other side. Remember, to get this, right, obviously we're going to be looking for the 4 steps, but the next, can we get above previous day low, right? Because there's a 75% chance that we close above this previous day low, right? Can we get above it? Can we get above the P12 low, right? Remember, the P12 is an inside bar. So with that being said, we already know. Let's go look at that real quick. All right. Let's go put probabilities on that. Let's go to candle signs. We know that our 12-hour is an inside bar, right? We're going to reset. We got 11,000 days, 11,000 12-hour periods. All right, we know that the last 12 hours was, let me check real quick. It was a red candle, all right? So we're going to say that C2 was red. It closed below the high and above the low, right? Represented inside. Now we've taken out the low already, which had an 80% probability. You can see that the high still has a 64% probability, right? So what happens when we bridge the 6 a.m. opening price, right? Just like we do on the daily, right? Which is right here near settlement, right? It's literally right there. right? What's the probabilities of that other side of the range, right? It jumps up to 83. So another confluence that says 12 hours inside, if we can get above the P12, we can start settlement filled. If we can do that, we can target the other side of P12 high as a target. Does that part make sense? This isn't one of those inside bars where, right, if this was a green, right, it's just, the color's irrelevant. But if you attack the high, yeah, we won't get into that, right? But we can see that if the action happens, right, there is a shift of this P12 high does still have a high probability of getting taken out because it's an inside 12 hour. Right? Does that part make sense to you guys? Before we go into the low probability continuation for the New York AM. Yes or no? There's 80 people in the chat. Am I talking a foreign language to you guys, or do you guys understand? Please respond in the chat. Right? I thrive off of feedback. Right? I need to know. It makes sense in my brain. I've been doing this for years. Right? If it doesn't make sense to you guys, I can re-explain it in another way for it to make sense. So give me some feedback. Okay. Good. All right. So we understand the trade plan, right? We're going to take longs, cover the queen 10 basis points, target Globex open for cash flow, try to leave runners on to attack this P12 high. We will use the 10 o'clock to add to positions, that kind of thing. The same thing we do every single time, right? Now we need to talk about the lower probable setup, right? The lower probable setup, because if we cannot identify where the lower probability, remember, right? Coming back over here, right? Remember that there's a 69% probability for a reversal, but there's a 30% probability for continuation. And if we cannot identify properly where this 30% steps in, we will blow a lot of mental effort and a lot of money trying to chase a reversal that isn't going to appear, right? So if we know we're going with the true, right, we can see that the session high should have been put between 7:30 and 8:15, right? That has happened at exactly 7:30, right? Well, it's 7:45, right, which is the second highest, right? And we know that if the market opens up and just pukes, right, and we get lack of four-step reversal, meaning we cannot get above 9 o'clock's 50%, we cannot get above 9:30, we get the lack of these steps, right? That's step one. Step two, right? Let me put it on. This is the MFB of every time that we broke from 7:30 to 8:30, right? Same thing we did with candle signs, right? This is the 30th percentile, 70% probability. Going to the 50th, right? From the 50th to the 30th percentile, or the 70th percentile, 30% probability. If we breach the 50th of this, we know that slide price telling you like, hey, we want to go lower, and you can either get on board, you can shit or get off the pot, right? Then the last step, the next step is, do we blow through the low of the day for the short falls? We already did that. Now do we stay below it, right? And then the last step is 40 basis points off of the 6-9 box. All independent measurements, right, that said when you do each one of these four steps, you get more times than not the lower probability over the higher probability. I will not be taking shorts today, right, in the morning session. I do understand that there's a high likelihood that this is going to be a red daily candle. However, the probabilities are telling me 9:30, the morning session will show its hand if it wants to reverse and turn into a green daily candle and close back within this range of previous day. So my job is to be patient and target longs, right? And that's just my trade plan today. Sells are off for me. I don't care, right? Like, I'm not good at selling the markets, right? Unless I get the tippy top, right? So I already know that's a weakness for me. Number two, we've hit an extreme from multiple sources that's telling me to look for a reversal, right? And like number three, probabilities are telling me, right, look for the reversal. So that's my job today, and that's what I will do. Right? Most days, like yesterday, you guys got to see me. If you're live trading, like nearly top tick this and ride it all the way down, right? Because the conditions were there. Literally everything was there that I war gamed. Today is the opposite. Like I am not in the environment to try to take a sell here. And exactly, Bill. Bill's one of the ones that did the hour, the 3 hour, the 12 hour, the daily with every possible candle sequence that can possibly happen. And he said it best. Red candles statistically love to suck back into the range. All right, so what questions do you guys have? Is this helpful? And like, what do you guys got before I put on the education video and exit? All right, today we are going to watch 4-step reversal. If I even redid it, there it is. Why do traders keep getting destroyed trying to catch reversals? It's not bad luck. It's not the market makers. It's a fundamental mismatch, and I'm going to show you exactly what it is. Here's the bottom line up front. Reversal trading is not about predicting tops and bottoms. It's a survival framework. The traders who get crushed use trend-style risk in a reversal environment. Full size, one shot, standing in front of a moving train. What I'm about to show you is a 4-step system built on 20 years of data, designed to let you be wrong twice and still walk away profitable. Let's talk about why this happens. When you're trading a trend, momentum is your friend. The wind is at your back. But when you're fading a move, trying to call a reversal, you're fighting the overnight session, the 12-hour, the 4-hour, the hourly, all of it. And most traders use the same playbook for both. Same position size, same stop, same expectations. That's the fatal mismatch. A reversal requires a delicate entry. You don't swing full size at a moving train. You position it piece by piece until the market proves the turn is real. Now here's where it gets interesting. I looked at 4,499 trading days. 31% of the time, the high or low of the entire day gets put in between 9:30 and 10:30. 65% of the time, that window sets the major pivot for the next 3 hours. 9:30 to 9:45 is the most common. Expect it 2 to 3 times a week. But here's the paradox, and it's the key to the whole framework. That same highest probability window is also where momentum is strongest and first attempts fail the most. The edge is real, but it will destroy you if you don't manage the risk correctly. So how do we trade it? We use objective, non-negotiable reference points. No opinions, no feelings, just anchors the market gives us. Step 1, can we get below the 9:31 minute candle? Step 2, can we break the 9 o'clock midpoint? Step 3, does 10 o'clock take out the 9 o'clock low? Step 4, does the 10 o'clock hour make a statistical high or low in its first quarter? These don't have to happen in order. The market completes them in different sequences. But once all 4 hit, you've locked in the major pivot, possibly the high or low of the day, and you leech off that information for the next 3 hours. Here's the risk model that makes this survivable. If your normal risk per trade is 1%, you take a quarter of that per step. 1/4 when step 1 hits, another 4th at step 2, another at step 3, and the final quarter at step 4. Why? Because you expect to get stopped out on the first attempt, maybe the second. But when the third one works, it covers the losses plus chicken dinner. You're not gambling on a single entry. You're building a position as the market proves itself. Let me be real with you. This 4-step framework isn't a setup. It's a risk management model disguised as one. The real job is building discipline, objectivity, survivability. A professional trader operates on process. If this happens, I act. If this doesn't happen, I don't. No prediction, no ego, just structure. That's how you survive. That's how you thrive. So remember, reversal trading is not about being right on the first try. It's about staying in the game while the market figures out what it wants to do. Use the 4 steps, scale in quarters, let the market prove the pivot, then leech off that information for the rest of the day. If you want to go deeper, join the bootcamp at thedailyprofiler.com. Do the work, track your rules, build confidence in your process, aligning the now with the then. All right, ladies and gentlemen, doesn't look like I have any response. We're back at Peru's dead low. Let's get it. Listen, like, when you get the 4-step reversal, I got to lock this in as the 835 low of the day, right? Right. Remember, the hardest thing that you're going to do, the hardest setup today, other than the sell, right, is going to be if that is the low. Just be patient, right? Set the conditions, right? We do have data that says that that can be the low of the day. There's 13% of the time that the conditional probabilities of Asia and London in this setup was the low. All right. Later, haters.